I could hear.
And how will Farrell's work?
Yasha, can you hear us?
Farrell? Yes, you
Yep.
can.
Okay.
Okay, ready to go?
Just want to make sure.
Am I promoting the auditor? Yeah.
Good morning.
Sharon?
I have.
Who's actually in the EMS program?
Sharon and who?
Oh, I didn't know that.
And Timon was there with me, and he let me in on it.
I didn't know that when he asked me.
Okay. Tell me whenever you're ready.
Ready?
Yep.
Oh, we're ready?
Yeah, we're recording.
Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the disability meeting for December 2021. Just go around and make your introductions to the record.
Jesse Zimberg, designee for Police Commissioner Shea.
John Dorset, designee for Controller Scott Stringer.
John Adler, designee for Mayor Bill de Blasio.
Joe Alejandro, PBA.
Chris McGrath, PBA by invitation.
Tom Gilmore, PBA.
Nicole Jambrisi, New York City Police Pension Fund, present by invitation of the Police Pension Fund.
Anthony Burley, SBA.
That's the Alejandro.
Jeffrey Ward, DEA. Nick Sifunius, counsel, and invited by the DEA, the SBA, LBA, and CBA.
Lou Turco, LBA.
Chris Monahan, CEA. Bob Sanskistad, Pension Fund, present by invitation of us.
Andy Vincent Miller, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation of the Police Pension Fund.
Kevin Holleran, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation of the Board of Trustees.
There you go.
Sergeant Michael Reese, Medical Division, present by invitation by the Police Pension Fund.
Anthony Gazis, Medical Division.
Tricia Lawler, present by invitation.
Lieutenant Rich Tuxi, Medical Division, present by invitation.
Stanley Collins, Police Pension Fund, invited by Pension Fund.
Mary Young, Pension Fund, present by invitation of the Police Pension Fund.
Police Pension Fund, present by invitation of the Police Pension Fund.
I'm sorry, I didn't get the last two people.
See? You didn't talk loud enough.
Vincent Diaz, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation of the Police Pension Fund.
Lenny Almonte, Police Pension Fund, present by invitation of the fund.
Angelo Trans Police Pension Fund, by invitation of the Police
Invitation.
Lisa Garcia, present by invitation by the Police Pension Fund, from the Pension Fund.
Okay.
Hey,
Anybody
Bill,
online?
are you on?
Bill Dukes, present for Finance Commissioner Sharif Suleiman.
Okay, representing the actuary?
Mike Savick for the actuaries, present by invitation from the mayor's office.
Okay, Law Department?
Marta Ross, Law Department, present by invitation of the Mayor's Office.
Okay, Damien, are you on?
No.
You're not. Okay, Gary?
Gary DeRosa, present by invitation of the SBA.
Mark?
Mark Marino, present by invitation and invited by the PBA.
Okay, anyone that I missed? Okay, Joe?
I do want to point out, obviously, this is the end of the year. There may be some changeover. I would like to say, for those who will not be here next month, it was been a pleasure working with you. Some of you, we may have disagreed, sometimes vehemently, on certain issues. We may still be disagreeing vehemently on some issues, but it's never been uninteresting to be at the board. And I guess that's always been in service of our members. So I appreciate all the hard work. And for those who are not coming back to city service, I wish you all the luck in the world, wherever you go, wherever you land. And so with that, I put that out there. I don't know if anyone else has anything to say.
I'll just say, this is John Adler, and this is my last meeting as the representative of Mayor de Blasio on this board. It's been an honor to serve the members of NYPD and the retirees as a member of this board. And I've appreciated the dialogue with all the trustees. As Joe said, we haven't always agreed. We have often agreed, but not always. But it's been I want to say it's been a pleasure, taking it a little bit to the extreme.
That's extreme. I even have to admit that.
It has been an excellent experience for me being on this board and serving with all of you as fiduciaries of the fund and in the service of the members and retirees and beneficiaries of the fund and the entire citizenry and residents of the city of New York.
Thank you, Doc.
And I'll let you guys know January 3rd.
There you go. So with bated breath.
I'll let you know sometime in January,
On another note, he's on the phone, but I do want to thank Mark Marino, who had recent surgery on his neck. He had 5 bones fused in his neck. And he's also, unfortunately, had some setbacks, but they seem to be pointing in the right direction now. He came down with MRSA. He's going through some treatment for that. Plus, he still has to go through treatment for his neck itself. And the man is on the phone. And I think he was on the phone within a day, worrying about when we were going to get a contract, because he said we could put Captain Kirk in space, but we can't get a doctor hired.
And just one other thing, Mark is actually listening in from the hospital.
Right.
And when doctors finish talking to him and consulting with him, he's handing them
job posting?
Yeah.
We might have a rush of physicians applying from what you Long Island guys call upstate New York.
I guarantee you're gonna have a resume coming in from a nurse.
There you go. He's in bed and he's working at the same time. God bless him. Yeah, if only the Jets had his kind of work ethic. That's all I can say. Sorry, Mark, I had to throw that in there. Not that the Giants are doing any better.
Don't get unplugged from any of those monitors. Just take it easy.
Oh, God.
All right. Very good. So, on to the agenda. Page 1, to accept the minutes of the previous meeting, Wednesday, November 10th, 2021, and to confirm the next meeting date, Wednesday, January 12th, 2022. I do want to point out to Mr. Dorset, there was some issues with scheduling early February for 2 or so.
Yes,
trustees.
so one of the ideas that was discussed offline when we realized that there would be a conflict in February was having the date of the regular meeting, also have the regular meeting in the morning, and then in the afternoon do the investment meeting.
That would be on the 9th, right?
On the 9th. This way we would all be, no, I'm sorry, I have a conflict on the 9th.
Right, so you would like to push it in the middle of the month?
Back to the middle of the month, if that pleases the board. And, Joe, I don't know if you have a date handy?
No, again, I don't know what dates now with the investment meetings and stuff, but, again, it could be, the 18th is a Friday of February, or if you want to do it the second week, the 11th on a Friday.
Just keep in mind the 21st is President's Day.
Yes, I know, that's what we're trying to avoid.
Yes. So hold on, just give me a second, and.
Because I don't have the schedule for the other boards.
Yeah, so I would say we could do the 18th and do a double meeting and do disabilities in the morning and then investments in the afternoon, if that works for people. The 18th of February, which is a Friday.
Oh, it's a Friday.
That's why I said I wanted to pick a Friday.
Instead of the 9th. I believe
instead of the.
I believe there is a conflict for the regular meeting. There's a conflict for the regular meeting, and there's also a conflict for the proposed investment meeting. So we're trying to find an alternative date, and the theory being that since BAM will be getting their footing under a new administration. So we would do the members' business first and foremost. Phil, are you amenable to that?
Yeah, one day.
Yes.
Okay, so let's do that, and I will, and
Follow up.
I'll send you an email to confirm that, after this meeting, so that this way we can have a record that, outside of this, that we'll have, an email chain that'll.
Super meeting on the 18th.
Can you just make sure you include, Andy in that too?
Yes, of course, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, Sends was my blanket term for the police matter.
There you go. All right. Pages 2 through 12.
Joe, pages 2 through 12, nothing of a controversial nature.
Thank you. So move. Okay, we're going to take things out of order a little bit. Pages 23 through 108, we have a presentation from our auditor, Grant Thornton.
Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Sharon Campbell. Let me just
Good morning.
Good morning.
see if I can share my screen, making sure it's the right screen.
Sharon, I've made you presenter. For the record, can you just introduce yourself and your team and the company for the stenographer?
Yes, absolutely. Just want to make sure that my screen is up.
It is.
Okay, perfect. So my name, and let me show my video. Okay. So good morning, everybody. My name is Sharon Campbell. I'm a managing director at Grant Thornton. In Grant Thornton's employee benefit plan audit practice, and I was the lead on the 2021 audit of the New York City police pension plans. My team with me today includes Patsy Iacono and Will Richardson as my managers, and I believe I have Kevin Morris as IT specialist, and Phil Bonanno and Andy Zimick as our actuarial specialist. So I appreciate the opportunity to present to you today the results of the audit, as well as our required communications to those charged with governance. Each of you should have the presentation in front of you, and I'll be highlighting some of the key slides for you. Before I begin, I would like to thank Police Pension Management for their collaboration and coordinated efforts in assisting us in the successful and timely completion of this year's audit. Overall, the audit went well, and we issued an unmodified clean opinion dated October 28th, 2021. Okay. So this is our team, the slide that you see here. Okay, moving on to slide 2. We approach our audits using a risk-based approach, and we start by identifying significant risks. An area of significant risk that's pervasive in all audits is management override of controls, which is a presumed fraud risk. Based on the presumed fraud risk and professional standards, manipulating the financial reporting process by recording inappropriate or unauthorized journal entries or making adjustments to amounts reported in the financial statements, which could include omitting, obscuring, or otherwise misstating disclosures by manipulating financial reporting process. So we gain an understanding of the financial reporting process and controls over journal entries and other adjustments, as well as the suitability of design and implementation of those controls. We make inquiries of individuals involved in the financial reporting process about any inappropriate or unusual activity relating to the processing of journal entries and other adjustments. And we consider any fraud risk indicators, the nature of the complexity of the accounts, and the entries that are processed outside the normal course of plan operations. Using whole ledger analytics on all the journal entries, both manual and automated, we identify transactions that may appear to have a higher risk of management override over controls based on a cumulative risk score. Based on the procedures performed, the controls appear to be designed and implemented appropriately. No individuals appear to have inappropriate authorization rights, and there were no significant exceptions identified. Moving on, other areas of focus that wouldn't be considered a significant risk, but would be areas of focus would be investments. So we confirm all investment positions. We evaluate the reasonableness of fair value disclosures. On a sample basis and with the assistance of our New York pricing group, we test the fair value of investments held at the end of the year, as well as purchases and sales made throughout the year to determine the reasonableness of the reported fair values. We then evaluate the reasonableness of investment expenses. There was one proposed adjustment identified in the current year that was part of an annual reconciliation process to the fair value of the alternative investments related to a lag between the last reported valuation of the alternative investments and the plan's fiscal year end. No other significant exceptions were noted, and we're comfortable with the values reported. Another area of focus would be contributions. We test the completeness of the population, and then on a sample basis, we test the eligibility of participants to participate and or contribute for member contributions, as well as the accuracy of the contributions that are calculated. Another area of focus is benefit payments. Again, we test the completeness of the population. Then on a sample basis, we test the eligibility of the member to receive the benefit, as well as the accuracy of the benefit payment calculation in accordance with plan provisions. And also our total pension liability is an area of focus. With the assistance of our firm actuaries, we assess the reasonableness of the actuarial assumptions used and the methods used. Okay, we talked about whole ledger analytics. Cybersecurity continues to be a primary focus. Responsible plan fiduciaries have an obligation to ensure proper mitigation of cybersecurity risks. Periodic evaluation of the design and effectiveness of the ITGCs, or Information Technology General Controls, can help mitigate these risks. So these were the in-scope applications that we looked at. We did not test operating effectiveness of the ITGCs, but rather with the assistance of our firm IT specialist, we performed procedures to gain an understanding of ITGCs in security administration, program maintenance, program execution, technology operations, and cybersecurity. Okay. As mentioned earlier, we provided an unmodified clean opinion. In the current year, the system adopted GASB 98, which basically establishes the term Annual Comprehensive Financial Report in the acronym ACFR, or ACFR. We did not see any scope limitations. We had open and effective communications with management, and internal control and best practice recommendations will be discussed with management separately. None of the internal control deficiencies identified rose to a level of significant deficiency or material weakness. The annual comprehensive financial report, again, the ACFR, is expected to be issued the third week of December this year and will include the GFOA Certificate of Achievement for the 2020 ACFR. Okay, other required communications. I'm not aware, or we're not aware of any going concern matters. Our procedures did not identify any fraud or non-compliance with laws and regulations. Again, there were no significant deficiencies or material weaknesses that were identified in internal control over financial reporting as a result of our audit procedures. We're not aware of the use of any other auditors. We did not use internal audit. Related party and related party transactions are appropriately disclosed in the financial statements. I'm pleased to report that we had no disagreements, no significant issues, and no significant difficulties encountered during the audit. We're not aware of management's consultation with any other accountants as it relates to our audit procedures. And there were no other significant findings that would be relevant to you in your oversight responsibilities. And there were no modifications to the auditor's report. The financial statements will be included in the ACFR that is finalized within the next couple of weeks. Okay, we're also required to communicate to you the system's significant accounting policies, which are detailed in the notes to the basic financial statements and are considered appropriate in all material respects and consistent with the prior year. Significant estimates include the fair value of investments, as well as the total pension liability and the related disclosures. We've assessed the financial statements and disclosures for clarity and completeness, and the footnotes to the financial statements appear to be informative, consistent, and clear. Okay, that concludes my presentation. Does anyone have any questions?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Before I leave, I just want to wish everyone a happy and healthy holiday season.
Thank you, you too.
You too.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. That's over, so back to the normal order, pages 13 through 22, discussion regarding police fiscal year 21 post-June billing.
So, I think all I have to say about that is, this is, in response to the board's decision to see the billing from, the corpus billing for BAM. So what you see before you today on page 13 through 22 is the post-June billing. So as I think we're all aware, the fiscal year ends on June 30th. There are bills that have to get paid between June 30th and they were billed in June 30th but weren't paid out until after June 30th. So this is the post-June report. So basically, in this case, as you can see from this, this is personnel matters related to people that have left the organization that were owed their management leave in at least two of these cases. And one, I want to note that the member waived the buyout. So that's the cost to the city is, or I should say the cost of the fund is $32,486 to collectively for the funds. And police's share is I believe it's $6,233. So I'm happy to answer any questions about the process or about the bill. And I'm sorry, I misspoke. The total
What page are
bill.
you looking at, John?
I'm sorry, page 13. The total bill, I had just mentioned the OTPS. The total bill with PS and OTPS is $15,100.
Right. And that's from what period again?
That's the post-June expenditures. So you'll see a full quarter at the end of March. So April, the first April meeting, I would presume you'll see the first quarter.
Believe, Stanley, this was sent to you and you reviewed it also for correctness?
Correct.
And you don't see a problem with it?
And I'm fine with the post.
Okay. All right. Part of this was brought up because somebody in the controller's office had talked about extra money being around. Now, we've had a prior discussion on this. You can opine if you want a little further, but as far as I'm concerned, there can't be any extra money. It's paid what you use, not extra money laying around or utilized for something else other than what it was intended.
Correct, Joe. We only ask the boards to pay for money that was expended, not for money that potentially could be expended. This is not like the budget that gets approved by the fund at large, where we know what's going to be spent throughout the year. We do know what's going to be spent throughout the year, but we don't bill you in that way. We bill you after we've actually spent it.
And also, any new positions to be hired, anything, the board needs to be made aware of it and ultimately decide if that's an expenditure they want to go with.
So, Joe, I fully expect that the board and the next iteration of the board, I'll say it, I think that's the appropriate way to say it.
I just want clarity because there will be a changeover.
I expect that the next iteration of the board will have an opportunity to receive a broader presentation on corpus for not just to the members on the labor side that are new, but there's also new members on the city side, or at least the principals will be changing, that I'm sure they would also have the benefit of understanding corpus and how corpus has evolved from the earliest days prior to 2006, which happened after, I believe, you were actually already on the board pre-corpus and post-corpus.
Pre-corpus and post-corpus.
I guess in full disclosure, I am one of the first people hired on the city line.
And there was a question about whether to keep you.
My first job was I believe, a corpus line job when I was on the investment side. So I too, like you, have been around a long time when it comes to corpus. So with that being said, I would fully expect that not just this board, but the other boards would be very interested to understand the process, how the money gets paid. There are things that were in the original resolution that talk about disclosure and how it actually gets paid and the role that OMB has over it. And
There's also a question of delegated authority.
Correct, and I think that, and those questions have.
They may implicate a request of the law department to discuss that also.
Joe, I think there's been a lot through the years that has evolved in this process. Some of those are administrative, some of those are just the way that the world has changed and we've, changed with the times as far as disseminating information and other things. I don't think that it's harmful to have a refresher so that everybody is on the same page. And I do know that along with that there are other questions that the PBA in particular has raised. I think when you have a thorough conversation about all of these pieces, that's the appropriate time to have to raise any of the issues that they have. I will say it today, I'll say it again, I think that BAM has always operated appropriately when it comes to the expenditure of these funds and has done it consistent with what the original mandate was. However, like many things, that may be, people may interpret different things that were done differently, but that's my personal belief is that everything has been done in accordance with what was set out in the original resolution. With that, the periodic times that the controls office has come back to the board with either changes to salaries or to changes to the structure, we've always brought that back to the board for a broader decision. Now, did we do it every day or every month or once a year or twice a year? I can't speak to that, but I will say that we've always, when there's been larger changes to BAM, brought those to the board. The boards have not been involved in the everyday operation of BAM, and I don't think that was ever expected that everything would be run through the board, but you would have oversight through the budget and us sharing the budget with you as is appropriate and as we are certainly willing to do is just an extension of that. But I do believe that this is going to be a broader conversation that I would fully expect the boards. I fully expect the boards will ask, and I think it's appropriate that we would respond in a more thoughtful presentation about corpus, because it is a very important piece of what the board's oversight over BAM is and the corpus of this.
Okay. So, thank you, John. So we need to vote on this, I believe, right?
Yes.
And does that also tie in with pages 109 through 124 regarding fiscal 2022 IQ corpus funding or no?
Yes.
That's a fourth quarter bill also?
So the
first quarter of the
fiscal year. First quarter of the fiscal year.
Yeah. And you have reviewed that also, Stanley?
Hate to click.
Oh.
So I can speak to the board about, from a PPF perspective, on what we do once we get the building with the board.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
So from an administrative perspective, we get the billing from the comptroller's office. My team, we review the entire billing, we go through all the invoices. We have historical previous billing, so we do a trend analysis. We look at all the invoices, we see if there's anything unusual or new, and then we work with John's team at the comptroller's office, and they will ask them, hey, what is this invoice for? We never saw it before, and then they'll come back with an answer. If we see anything unique on the PS side, same thing. So that practice has been going on at least for the last 2.5, 3 years. So we do have that constant communication. And then now the process is, once we get that, we do that reconciliation process, but then we also wait for the board to review it themselves and vote on it, and then only then do we make that payment. So today we're asking for the post 2021 and the first quarter for 22.
All right.
And Joe, I will note, I think the process today with the board being informed of Stanley's review, rather than Stanley just doing the review and not coming to the board, I think that's a best practice, and I think that that's a good idea, and I think that only strengthens the role of the board that is now coming before us. So I actually welcome that, and I know Stanley's been looking at it for the last couple of years, but the mechanism of bringing it to the board didn't happen, and I'm glad to see that you know, that's something that we're undertaking here. I think it's best practice, and then I think that, you know, coming from the controls office, I do welcome the fact that someone else is looking at it before it gets here, just because there's a lot of human beings doing this, and I want to make sure that everything's appropriate.
And if I could just add in there, under Stanley's leadership, the improvement has been incredible. And cooperation, of course, from the Controller's Office. But really, Stanley's got his eyes on everything, and we really welcome his help and his presence here. So, really good.
Okay. So, then we just need a motion to make the appropriate payments for fiscal year 21 post-June billing and the first quarter of corpus funding for fiscal year 2022. So I make a motion.
Second. And thank you.
Okay, so I make a motion to go into executive session for purposes of discussing disability cases.
Second.
Okay.
Hey, everyone, we're going to close this link. If you can click the link for the executive. Thank you.